terrible, god-awful movie with
No, but
Ryan
like what
Gosling
was it? What was it called?
and Rachel McAdams.
Shut up, shut up. What was it called?
Underscore overall? Question mark? Thank you.
All right. So the only stuff that I'm missing
I'm dead.
is Fate of All Fools, Necroclasm, Sidearms, but I'm only missing like 90 kill or 10 kill. Oh shit! I should finish rank 1. I'm missing 20 kills, and then ogres like for rank 3 and rank 3 on hydras, and
But you don't. Okay, so you have all of your wanted bounties.
yeah, I'm looking right now. Yeah, I'm just double checking. So wanted, yeah, those are all done.
This is
Very
episode 8. I have a lot of topics for today, like
There
6
we go.
topics. I don't know if you guys looked at the outline at all.
No, when did you send it over?
When did you send the outline?
Yeah, I didn't get an
This
outline.
morning. This morning.
In email?
No, in the Facebook chat.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
You did?
Now I see it.
Hold on.
It says
Okay.
Totes forgot about this.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then it
you know,
got,
instead of
it got
a heading
surpassed by
like
James Capelli, Ben Riddick, James Capelli, Ben Riddick. That's what
okay.
happened.
So basically,
By the time you woke up, the
Okay.
link was not on the first.
no, I
screen.
see it now. The trick is, I completely forgot about this, but it doesn't say what he forgot about. So I didn't click it because
My
you keep sending the links out for the Twitter and stuff. So I was just kind of like, oh, it's another Twitter link. Okay, I got it.
Okay. Berg's pre-call merger notes.
Yes.
So show topics.
Did I get shares?
Are we?
How many
This
shares
is,
am I getting?
this is all Destiny, right?
This is all
All
Destiny.
Destiny, all the time. Crap, how do I get every... No. I don't want Mike. Just Chris and Ben.
No, he's talking about looking at the screen. Don't worry about it. I was having the same issue where I put you as like the main person on the screen when I was trying to get you to be not on the screen at all. Okay.
Is he going to be talking? What's he doing?
He's talking to me.
No, so what he's been doing is sitting in the stream and managing the actual stream.
Oh, okay, nice.
Okay,
You
then how
guys
do
are
I
in
get him
this
to go
here.
down?
You need to
There.
click on
No,
the
I got it,
people
I
you
got it,
want to see.
I got it. I got to click you twice and then click Chris and then he's on the screen again. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So-
what I kept fucking up.
So basically, Chris, when Ben is out, I can host the stream on Skype, and Mike can possibly just do the streaming part of the stream,
Hopefully.
assuming it all works. But Ben and I
Exactly.
went through 101 on how to not fuck up this morning.
And
So.
I by doing that,
And we both
I
fucked
literally
up.
fucked everything up and had to remake everything. It was great.
That sounds like YouTube.
So I somehow messed up my audio devices. So now when I turned on the computer, all you heard was this really horrible.
So normal.
That's what I hear from Ben all the time.
That's what I say. That's what we normally hear when we're saying there's this humming
then-
noise.
And then everyone talks like, oh yeah.
So we're all turning into like monks. Is what you're saying?
Essentially, yeah.
I think Sam should be offended by that.
That
some
or
reason.
didgeridoos. Right?
Oh, the didgeridoo would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm offended because I'm not Australian.
All right. Are we ready to get this? Are we ready to get this show on the road?
Listen, talking about Destiny, we can do that all day, every day.
So Chris is ready. Sam, are you
Except
ready?
for the last like 3 months where we didn't really play it. But that's fine. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Mike, are you ready?
We're already
Okay.
streaming, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, I am already streaming. I'm just making sure that I can do the intro. Okay? As a matter of fact, I am going to, before I forget,
You
figure
need
out
to
what
send me
time
the
this is.
template for the intro, then I
Do
can.
I? Oh, it's in an Evernote. I'll just put that in there for you.
Of course it is.
Let's do this. It's another nerdy night as my roundtable joins me for a drink in the hangar. We have proven ourselves masters of our own fate against Atheon. We have survived what lurks in the dark below. and we have been noticed by the Queen of the Reef and trusted to eliminate her worst enemies. I am your host, a blade dancer, a gunslinger, and soon a night stalker, Ben, the ridiculous Riddick. Joining me at my round table is a man who can't wait to break the sun and throw down his hammer, Sam Chen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Titan Master Race, even though I like Warlocks better.
You know, I needed to have one of each, okay? Also joining me is someone ready to harness the calm within to tame the hurricane without, Chris Bonani.
You know what they say, anger leads to hate. Hate
leads to
I'm just going to
suffer.
say, that's all I got to say. That's it. Anger leads to hate. I can't wait.
Yeah, there you go. Tonight we have a great show planned, but before we get into our first topic, let's talk about the active quests we have going on. For those of you new to the show, active quests are the games we're playing and just nerdy things we're doing in general. Chris, it's been a few weeks. What have you been doing?
So my quest right now has been doing things like this, pretty much nonstop. So here's my lovely vectors and force notation and all that fun stuff. I've been doing the nerdiest of all things, which is becoming an engineer. So I'm in school full swing and have been doing nothing but working on fun problems about things sitting on things.
See, the irony of all of this is that you're trying to be an engineer just so you can get stuck on Mars and do the thing.
Exactly.
Sam, how about you? What have you been up to?
So after finishing Batman last week and not doing anything after that, I hate Chris, by the way, since he wasn't on stream last week to call him out. I was like, hey, Chris, should I do all this extra stuff to get this? He's like, yeah, it's worth it. It'll only take you a couple hours. Finished, I was like, fuck you. Like, not worth it. Should have just gone on YouTube.
I'm sorry, but I could not let you miss the fun of going through all of that for that wonderful ending that they tacked on.
Yep.
No spoilers, though. No spoilers.
You bought the game. Not my fault. I finished it first.
No. Oh, you're talking to Sam.
You're talking to me, yeah.
We know you finished it, Ben. It's the same. I had the same conversation with you.
He hasn't finished it because he wants to get a perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he knows the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the end.
So I've been strongly debating getting Metal Gear, which I already said I would get later, but then it seems like it's pretty fun. That being said, we're a week away from New Destiny, so
not even a week away. New shit is dropping tonight.
Tomorrow. Well, yeah. Tonight, tomorrow, that sort of thing. I mean, so really what I've been doing on the side is watching the first season of Mr. Robot, which is a new show on USA, which is kind of like a hacking subculture show, sort of. It's pretty cool. It's kind of refreshing that USA is doing a show where it's not just mindless background banter. Like, as much as I loved White Collar and Suits and Burn Notice, like, it doesn't really require me to pay attention to get anything out of the show. Mr. Robot kind of does, and it's kind of fun and cool. Now that hacking is cool again.
I've actually been while I'm doing all my homework, they just put on Netflix Person of Interest.
Yes.
So I have been like downloading the seasons of that into my brain while I'm trying to.
So you haven't watched it yet before?
No, I purposely didn't watch it because I really heard about it at the middle of season 2, and so I was trying to avoid it until I could stream it. I knew it would happen, so now I'm like, yay! I get to watch all of it in a row.
Very good show. Very good show.
Yes. I love binging shows like that. I personally, I have finally gotten into The Witcher.
Ooh, yeah. Good game.
Like it
all right, let me just put my headset down. You guys can talk.
I told you to play it before Batman.
It only took me about 6 hours worth of gameplay before I'm like, okay.
So you don't hate it?
No.
You did. The last conversation we had was you going, like, it's horrible, and then now you like it.
I never said it was horrible. I said
I
didn't like the way it controlled.
Horrible.
Well, yeah, no, I didn't like the way it controlled.
Okay.
You know, and I still have some issues. I don't know why. I've played plenty
There are.
of third-person like action RPG games like The Witcher, but for some reason the controls on this one are just really. It feels foreign to me when I play.
It is a little wonky. And then, did they fix the whole like if you fall off of a ladder, you can die randomly? Did they fix that?
That hasn't happened to me, so I'm assuming they must have.
Spoiler
Okay,
alert.
because like if you jump off of like the second story of a building, you'll take equivalent damage of getting hit by an ogre in the head
Oh, that
just
makes
from
sense.
jumping down from like the second story to the first. It makes no sense.
You've got to be careful for those invisible roof ogres, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've been really enjoying that. And then today, I made my first attempt at soloing Crota's End.
And last attempt.
No, I'll do it again.
How easy do you think it's going to be post patch?
So everything that I was reading in my in my research ahead of time is you don't need a Yallarhorn to be able to complete Crota's End solo. It just makes it a lot easier.
Yep.
Also, I don't know how much I don't know how much the nerf is going to affect Crota's End on Yallarhorn. I'm interested
I'm thinking
to see.
specifically about Crota, right? Because you're going to have 2 rockets to take him down. As long as both rockets still take him down, the soloing should be accomplishable. If you have to do a reload, now you're in sketchy territory.
Unless you're a hunter and you throw a burning throwing knife. Because then you at least get
Or
those few
a
seconds of
warlock and
burning.
you throw a solar grenade.
Yeah. That also causes burning.
Yeah, same thing with same thing. You can just use Dragon's Breath and just
That
have
sounds
the
horrible.
pool down below. And after the patch, after the expansion, if you're a Titan, you can just throw
Yeah.
solar hammers at him.
This is true.
Although, that's
but
a little bit more.
anyways, so I made it through the abyss. I mean, that was easy. I've done that 100 times as a hunter, and I went through what's the next, the bridge. I got to the bridge part, and rather than jumping across, I tried the whole juggling the bridge open, which
Okay.
worked really well, except for when that fucking sword bearer doesn't actually come up to you. Like that's honestly the hardest part. But it was pretty easy, and it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to future attempts that I will definitely be streaming as well. There were some curse words to be had. There was some, oh shit, I accidentally ran into Crota moments as well. So it was fun. But that's what we're here to talk about today. We are here to talk about Destiny. Destiny, Destiny, Destiny. I feel like we've had a few of these shows, but Taken King comes out next week. Next Tuesday. And I can't wait. So I thought this would be a great episode to kind of...
I'm not going to wait.
Oh,
Crucible maps launch tomorrow.
I'm so excited. We'll get into the Crucible stuff later on in the show, though. The very first thing that I want to kind of talk about is I want to reminisce on year 1, as well as talk about year 2. And I thought the first thing that we could talk about was story. Story.
Yeah.
We've awoken the hive. And then the eyes. That's about
You're interesting. You're interesting. Sort of.
Not too interesting.
Not too interesting, but you know, I'm not going to
interesting.
kill you. I think
Yeah.
maybe.
So I thought let's tackle the biggest pitfalls of the story first. Besides the obvious pitfall of story? Question mark?
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys think could have been done with the story to make it better?
Put the grimoire in the game.
Put the grimoire in the game. Now, when you say put the grimoire in the game, do you mean just have those cards open and available, or do you mean like throw freaking
Honestly,
cutscenes?
if they had just made it so that you could access the cards in game, it would have solved a lot of people's issues. And they're doing more than that, obviously, with the expansion. But if they had just simply made it so that as you access the grimoire, as you earned a grimoire card, it didn't just show on the bottom of your screen like, grimoire card acquired. Boop. And what the hell do I do with it now?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Where's this grimoire card?
If you could actually
Is it in
look
my
it up,
inventory?
that would have been a great thing.
Yeah. I agree. But that's something that they're implementing in 2.0,
Yep.
which is exciting. So at least they're listening.
Yeah.
Sam, what do you think? Do you agree? Biggest pitfall is the grimoire not being in the game? Or?
Well, this is an interesting point because I think having played games with good story content with Chris together, he is the type of person who's going to go in and read this stuff. I would not have done that. In fact, like the thing that made Assassin's Creed in general plus Black Flag was I would play the game, see some cool stuff, and then like Chris would come back 2 hours later and be like, oh, "Did you see all this cool stuff that happened in all of the like text that I read?" And I'm like, "No, tell me more."
Yeah, I could just kind of fill him in on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, Grimoire and Gabe would have been great because then Chris would have told me what happened. Other than that, I think it's hard because I think they tried, and I think there's part of me that says, "Hey, look, there is story type content, right?"
I think a lot of the rumors are just that. I think that like there's always been that like oh my god, I can't think of the word. Not a rumor, but a like just a wide held belief by everybody, or a conspiracy theory that they stole all of the story out of the game to only release during the expansions. And I really don't think they did. I really think their storylines were just so screwed up, and they changed the story so much that they couldn't get it re-recorded in time, and they just launched it with the story incomplete, and they screwed up. To be honest, that's me being honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if we take it from beyond the first release, right? I could even go back and say, look, with The Dark Below and with House of Wolves, like, as much as people complained about Dinklebot, like, if they had really planned all of this from the beginning, like, Dinklebot wouldn't have been an omission. I don't think. I don't think they would have been like, man, he did such a bad job, we're just not going to put the ghost in. I think they were like, you know what? We kind of missed the mark with him. Let's not, like, throw good money after bad, and let's just try to do it with Eris Morn, with whatever the girl's name is for the other thing, and all, and everyone else. So
what bothers me is that I feel like they spent more money on getting these really well-known actors, like Nathan Fillion, like Peter Dinklage, Gina Torres, and Bill Nighy, and all these people. But it's like, oh, we can't really pay you to talk that much. So
well, they did say, I mean, like Fillion went on record saying that he recorded way more lines that are in it. He recorded like pages of dialogue, whole like pages and pages of dialogue, not just like 1 or 2 lines like he has in the actual thing.
Yeah,
I think the problem was again that the story kept changing.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah, and then they didn't know what to do with the factions properly. They really, because they streamlined everything to make it more of just a shooter. And I mean, really, yeah, I agree. I think everyone agrees. Everyone knows they dropped the ball in the story. We're giving them this shot with this expansion to really bring it so the story comes back because...
Well, this is like the 3rd shot we've given them because that's exactly what we were saying right before Dark Below came out. We're like,
yeah, but each individual
I feel like this will be the story.
Each individual thing has had a good story. Like the Prison of Elders had a decent... They added the reef. They added some more stuff. You saw some more cutscenes. There was a story there. The problem was it was sitting on top of a pile of poop. So, exactly. if you put a cracker that's tasty on top of a pile of dog crap, it's not really going to be a tasty cracker. I'm just saying.
As the other 2 people on this stream are dog owners, we know how that goes.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. It's a real concern.
And I think that brings me to something else that I was thinking about as I was watching the latest Twitch reveal and just kind of thinking about all of the Twitch reveals as we go into year 2 is that, I think the true challenge for them was, and I think some of this is that like we've given them a chance before thing, is at the end of the day, they basically tried to give us Destiny 2 without resetting into a Destiny 2 environment.
Yeah.
Of completely new game, completely new everything, and then like you carry over some data from your saves. So I think that there in my mind, I never really thought about it that way, and I don't think I ever gave them enough credit for doing it that way because they they're trying to create a persistent environment, and that's not easy. And sometimes in a persistent environment, you got to toss away shit that's not good. And you know, as players from year one, from day one, we feel betrayed by that, not thinking, oh, hey, like, is this what they need to do to keep the game more interesting? So we can be players in game day 1000 and not just, 365 and done.
Yeah.
So that's kind
I
of
mean,
that's kind of where I am.
that I I agree. I mean, it takes a lot to make the kind of game that Bungie is making, and it's coming from a studio that doesn't. Not that they don't have experience making shooters, but they don't have experience making a persistent online shooter like Destiny. And
Yeah.
I do have to say for their first entry into this genre, they're doing a pretty damn good job.
Hmm.
They're the best thing that I love about what Bungie is doing is they are 100% listening to the audience. I mean, the entire like first reveal in the tower, they just kept saying, "Oh, you want more vault space? Well, maybe we'll go to the vault." I mean, granted,
It's true.
I thought that was handled poorly,
Yeah.
uh, but they are listening. They do know what we want, and they
Well,
are.
no, they
I feel like they're trying to
well during that
work
reveal,
towards
you
it.
know that they were actually watching, and they only added the vault space because enough people threw money at the screen
Oh, that's
during the
right.
reveal.
That makes sense.
We threw
It's like,
enough, and they were like, "Yay, vault space!" No, I'm just kidding.
it's actually that's how vault space is made by throwing
Yep,
money at the
by throwing
screen.
actual money at your screen.
it it gets absorbed through the
I've
TV
had a
and
vault. I've
grows the
had a huge
vault.
vault space. I don't know
Yeah.
what you guys are complaining about. I've got like 300 slots for primary weapons
Yeah,
alone.
it's
I mean, to be completely
freaking
honest,
brilliant.
that's how this stream works too. If you want our quality to be like 10 times better, throw money at the
Throw
Throw
screen
money
money
at
at the screen.
right now. Oh, didn't get enough. Sorry,
But so
kids.
all those negatives being said, this is a game that we consistently go back to and play the shit out of.
Yep.
Like I I've spent a
It's
grand total of like $90 on the game, and I have put in so many hours into this game that it's like if you broke it down, I'd probably be paying like a fraction of a cent for each hour that I have played, and will continue playing. So
yeah.
I kind of want to talk about the story still, like in those like brief little moments where it gave you a hint that, or like teased you a little bit that there might be a story in the game. What were your favorite moments? Like, what were the ones that stuck with you? And I'll give you an example. I'm going to talk about "We've Woken the Hive." It's such an iconic line now that I have made it a text tone on my phone so that every time Sam texts me, I hear "We've woken the hive," and he's going to his phone
Gonna
right now
text
to
him
try
now.
to text
Wait,
me.
is your phone
Um,
on?
no, it's not. So
Damn
it would
it.
actually, and I have headphones in. Yeah, exactly. Um, so I mean, I just I want to hear
Wow.
what moments you guys have that stuck with you in the story so much. Like, what are your favorite moments of Destiny?
I mean, I think my highlight moment really came from House of Wolves, going through the story missions, and kind of re-going down into Vault of Glass. I thought that was
That
amazing.
oh, I do have to agree with that. I
Um,
loved every moment
especially
of that.
especially considering how much time we spent in Vault, because like I think everyone like who actually did play Vault a lot really kind of cracked it. Where I feel like Crota's End, you just figured out how to cheese it better.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
113 hard mode completions on Atheon and like I think 28 hard mode completions
Well,
on
you're talking
Florida.
specifically about the story, not
Yeah,
individual moments in the game, though, right?
absolutely. But I mean, what Sam's talking
Yeah,
about is still the
yeah.
story.
Is the story of it?
Um,
Yeah, yeah. It
and
actually sending you back there was pretty nice.
what was even cooler is that they sent you back there, and they had the Fallen trying to harness the power of the vault. Like you
Hmm.
had the Fallen trying to figure out how to work oracles. You had the Fallen trying to figure out how to work those teleporting, you know, thingies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like how they basically tried to build something into it versus what they did with not bringing Vex up to like the new power level where they were like, well, the Vex is frozen in time, and that is how Vault of Glass works. Ha ha ha! And I'm like, okay, we don't understand that story component. You
Yeah.
never fleshed it out. Sorry, not a great excuse. Whereas like you see this, and you're like, oh, cool, they're harnessing it for power. Um,
Um,
yeah,
So
that's
thank
good.
you. So Skolas, really good guy. He's giving us more story.
really good guy.
So
Good guy
my
Skolas.
my personal favorite story part, um, well, actually, my favorite moment of the game was simply the first time that you complete Atheon. That
Yeah.
first time that we downed him,
I still
that
have I still have the screenshot from that.
that was like the moment where like going in there and how well done Vault of Glass was.
Mm.
Just
You
how
mean
great.
like us all sitting there with our Chatterwights, except for me because I didn't get a Chatterwhite drop the first time. Then I got like 10. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I still have that screenshot
At
somewhere.
least you got a helmet. Of course, I
No,
did get like
yeah,
G
I got.
horn. I
Yeah.
had G horns before we went in there.
I did too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it was
that was
pretty
my
awesome.
favorite moment. Like
Hey,
the
Mafia Man.
the progression of that was great. The progression, there was story in Vault of Glass, and you know, like I actually read all the different story parts of it about
The
K-Bar and
grimoire for Vault of Glass is like
yeah,
bar none some of the best
yeah. So to me,
in the
that was
grimoire.
probably the best storyline for me in Year One Destiny was Vault of Glass.
Yeah, I think I could definitely agree with that. Let's talk a bit about these NPCs. Okay,
Hmm.
I want to hear like which ones do you think were the best and the worst of the NPCs? Like for me, my all time favorite NPC is oh my god, I forgot his name. Nathan
Oh,
Fillion's character.
Hmm.
oh.
Um, I don't remember. I want to say
But
it's
by the
Cade,
time
but
I
I think
got to
that's
that
the.
character, I did not play him, or I did not need to talk to him anymore.
But like just the story of him in the grimoire is some of the best in the
Cade
game, in my opinion.
6.
It is
Cade
Cade. I was
6.
right. Um, like the grim one of the grimoires that sticks out to me the most is Cade in the battle for Twilight Gap. How he's stuck on top of this hill, and Hive are essentially closing in on them, um, and there's only him left and this one fallen captain, and essentially they're working together because if they don't work together, they're going to die. And then at the very end, the fallen is wounded. The captain is wounded, so she's just like, "I'm gonna put down my gun. I'm going to go run at these fucking knights, and I'm going to try to rip them apart, so that you can survive." And I think that's
Hmm.
just one of the coolest stories. And then it flushes out even more to the point where it's like Cade is a fallen sympathizer almost. It's like he looks at fallen as not really an enemy, but someone that we're just fighting and we don't understand why. So like I think that's what makes him, in my opinion, the coolest character. Um, what do you
Wow,
guys
my
think?
answer does not have a good backstory. Just like the first year of Destiny.
What about you, Chris? I
So
mean, do you?
um, so NPCs, I have two NPCs that I really really like, um, and I'm just making sure I have it right. But my first one, was like in vanilla, like in the actual like vanilla, there was probably one person that was the best, and it was completely unused. Wait, guess. Somebody completely unused, and it was a wonderful voice actress, and she unfortunately never got a chance to really do anything.
The Warlock advisor, right?
Claudia Black as Tess, the Special Orders voice. Every time you go in the tower, you walk up to the Special Orders desk where there's nothing waiting for you other than that stupid speeder that can flip upside down. And she's always been like, "Welcome, Guardian." And it's her voice. It's Claudia Black, underused, but it was awesome. Like, I would always like go by just so she would say hello, so I felt like I wasn't ignoring her.
She's gone.
Yeah, I know. But that was probably my favorite NPC of vanilla, just because Claudia Black's voice is amazing. But now
Claudia
my
Black,
current...
She's in Chloe in Uncharted, right?
I think
Chloe
so. She was
Fraser.
also... I mean, it's Claudia Black. She was in Stargate and SG-1 and all that kind of stuff. But right now, my current favorite is a certain person who has a fascination with eyes. Eris Moore.
Eris Moore.
Because I think I've talked about her more than everyone. Just don't forget to bring me their eyes. Bring me the eyes. It's the funniest thing. And I mean, her story is kind of crazy too, being trapped in the hive, living in the caves, and somehow she implanted a third eye in her head. Shit. Some crazy crap happened to that chick. Yeah. But she, just the fact that you're playing through these strikes and these stories, and she just keeps telling you, "Bring me eyes. Get their eyes." Yes, that's it. It like haunts your dreams.
Sam,
okay, so mine are
boring.
Now. Okay. So my vanilla one is definitely Lakshmi 2, the future war cult merchant. Only because I love that actress. Not going to pretend I know how to pronounce her name, because I'm looking at it at IMDb and I'm not going to even try.
It's just not helping.
Yeah, but like I just really love her voice, and part of it is like she was on like 24 season 3, which is one of my like favorite shows of all time, and so it's just kind of cool to have that little bit of throwback. My new Destiny favorite NPC is definitely the new Cryptarch, because he just talks so much shit.
About the other Cryptarchs.
And it's great. I think honorable mention definitely goes to some of like the robots in the tower when you just land, and if like you do nothing in the game, the robots start like talking to you and they say like really funny, ridiculous things. I can't come up with anything right now, but they definitely deserve an honorable mention. I don't even know who did the voice for any of that, but it just sounds funny. I like the random dialogue is actually not as bad as we thought.
When you
look at the Cryptarchs, one of my favorite things that Bungie did was the remains that you can disturb in the Skywatch.
And you saw what happened. I think it was like after House of Wolves launch on Reddit, right? It made it to the front page for a day or so.
Where someone was like, "What is this?"
Someone was like, "Dude, I figured something out. Look at this!" And everyone was like, "You're a kindergarten."
Yeah,
you weren't here from day one.
Speaking of it, did you see the IMDb has Peter Dinklage? Basically, it's like he's dead, because when you look, it has Peter Dinklage, Ghost, 2014, 2015, and then Nolan North, 2015 to whatever. It's just fun. It's like he's done. It's like his tombstone.
Yeah. Let's talk about weakest NPCs. I mean, that the Ghost has got to be.
So, the weakest NPC, I think Claudia Black, Tess Everest, still the weakest NPC, because she has like 3 things that she says, and you do nothing with that NPC. There was no purpose to having her in the tower at all.
They turned her into a computer.
Yeah.
Essentially, by Ava Levante.
So to me, that's my weakest. Again, how do you have Claudia Black and not use her at something cool? Shameful.
So my vote is more or less the speaker, who you go to for almost nothing, who I think in the beginning, and someone pointed this out in another stream I was watching, where they're like, yeah, it's like you go to the speaker, and he's like, man, I could tell you about all this great stuff and all this interesting things about the Traveler,
but I won't.
And no.
Well, that's like my favorite part about that exchange. He's like, I could tell you about this and this and this and this and this and this, but stories are just to scare little kids. And it's like, come on,
What are you
dude.
doing?
Do
What are
I
you
need to
doing
go
to
ask
me?
a little kid this story? Because I don't think that'll go over well. Walking around the town around the tower, going, "Hey, little kid, want to tell me about the darkness?" I don't feel like
So
that would
bad.
go over well. I
Oh
don't feel like that would go over well at all. Why
no,
wouldn't
I'm
the
gonna go with
speaker
a no
just
on
tell
that
us?
one. Neither does
Please
you
don't
saying
do
that, just so you know.
We apologize to
Yep. Yeah.
anyone watching with kids.
Or
It's
anyone
really
watching.
not that creepy.
No, not usually. Not usually. Yeah. Do we have anything else we want to add to the story? I mean, we have things.
There's
we
a
want
lot to add
to
to the
but-
story.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that for a day, but we can move
actually-
on, I think.
Let's talk about the raids. We talked about it a little bit already, but we have 2 raids already. We've got Vault of Glass.
The
and
good
we've got
one.
The Dark Below.
The cheesy one.
The cheesy one.
Well, they're both cheesy, to be honest.
What is like cheddar? What is sharp cheddar? And one is like a fine Gouda.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
one's
no, one is
American
like
and one's
Limburger.
fine Gouda.
And the other one, or it's like fine Gouda that turns to Limburger at the end. That's the problem.
Dirty
with it.
Nights Radio, Cheesecast. Hashtag
Well, because
Cheesecast.
Vault of Glass it is the best raid all the way up until you get to Atheon. And then it becomes the please don't glitch, please don't glitch, please don't glitch. Oh, glitched.
Yep.
Please send the right people inside. Please send the right people. Oh, no. Okay,
Nope.
let's do it again. But this time with feeling. Like it's over and over. How many times did I actually say that when we were doing it?
To
This
contrast
time with feeling.
Crota's Ed, when you get to Crota, you're like, please glitch, please glitch,
Please glitch. Exactly. It's can we glitch him?
Now, still like one of my fondest memories of Vault of Glass is going to be the first time that we tried to run Vault of Glass, and we made it through the wilderness. We made it through we made it through the Templar, and we got to the Gorgon maze. And at
Oh
this
my
point-
god.
At this point, I'm like, I don't know.
Hold on, guys.
Like 4 or 5 shots of whiskey in.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh god, this is difficult. Oh wait, I'm a hunter. I'm gonna go invisible. Peace out, you guys. And then
And
I
I'm like,
run
oh,
out
that's
there.
a good idea. That's a good idea. 2 seconds later, honk. Hey, what do I do if I punch a Gorgon?
You've been spotted.
It's
Dead.
like, I wonder if I can blink strike a Gorgon and it will be okay. Nope. And like,
Although
Chris is,
I think that
Chris
is
sitting
followed
there,
up by
dude.
when we actually did kill the Gorgon. That was
Yeah, I was
pretty
gonna
fun.
say we did kill one.
Yeah. I think one of the funniest things is that was one of Chris and I's first interactions with each other.
I was like, who's this drunk idiot?
So, the entire time I'm thinking is this guy is really legitimately like reading strategies online, trying to figure out how to get us through, saying, okay, we got to run to the rock, we got to climb up the rock, we got to wait for this Gorgon to go, and then I'm just like, woohoo, motherfuckers! And just running.
It was
by.
Ben. It was the start of a beautiful friendship.
You just literally hear Chris in the background going.
Yeah. Nice audible sighs.
Like,
We've had a couple of those.
I'm legitimately crying right now. I'm laughing so hard about this. It's just some of my favorite memories were from doing the Atheon raid. Just because it was so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And then that one was one that was truly rewarding to figure out each part.
Yeah, I remember being like white knuckled on because I was the first one when we did the Templar, and we had somebody up top to snipe the oracles, and I was the first one to go, I'll take that back left oracle that when you zoom in with the sniper you can only see a little corner of it, and I was
sliver.
like a sliver of it. No one else, we didn't have another strategy for it, so I was like, I got it. And I remember sitting there with my sniper, just like, do not fuck this up. Do not. We're not PG. Are we PG-13? Do,
Or,
do not screw this
you're
up.
okay.
Don't mess this up because I don't want to wipe the raid because I miss a shot. But it was important to do that, and that was great. I remember that the intensity of it.
And that's the thing about like the teamwork that came in that raid, where I think probably like 1 or 2 months into it, one of the articles on the front page of the Reddit was this guy saying like, man, I love this raid so much. I wish I could just like buy 6 Xboxes, stick them in my office, and force my team to actually just play through this raid, and like to just show them what like teamwork actually means.
Yeah,
and I think that is a big point, is because like it became like,
raid.
Hey guys, you need to fucking communicate. Like if you missed it, no problem. Let's send someone down and shoot the damn thing. But if you don't tell us and we just wipe,
then it's on you.
We're gonna get angry at you.
We are going to boot you.
Yeah,
we're going to boot you at some point.
Yeah, and the team.
And we met people that friends, so that's always good.
Yeah, the teamwork aspect is huge. I mean, we're talking. This is a raid that legitimately requires at least some sort of team, because there are parts that you cannot get through unless you have at least 4 people with you.
And even up until recently, the actually Atheon, if your team was not gelling, you could wipe on it 20 times.
Yeah.
Until like if you tried to go in with 3 people who knew what they were doing and 3 pickups, you were hoping. So I mean, you were always better off with a well-formed team.
When I think like this was probably maybe like halfway through when we were done enough with Crota, where like some of us wanted Fatebringers, this guy, and we went through it. And I think in one night we 4-manned the raid with like 1 guy off LFG, and then like that guy had to go away, and then like a couple more of our friends came on, and then we like 6-manned it. And the 4-man we did in 2 tries. And the 6-man, it took us like another hour and a half.
For no
Which is
reason.
ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that the one where I was like on sleeping medication and I was the guy that came in? No, I'm just kidding. Because you're like, Chris, come help. But I'm like, I did that at least once, where I had taken a sleeping pill and I was like an hour past when I should have been asleep, and I was doing an Atheon raid to help someone get a piece of gear they needed.
It was probably me in my Vex Mythic class, because I didn't get it until the 98th hard mode completion.
Yeah.
I like how
I'm not bitter about that at all.
Somebody didn't get a G-Horn until just,
Nope.
How long did it take you, Sam?
A really long time. I think it was like February. I think it was legitimately February when I got it.
Have you guys done the tally, by the way, on your total days played?
No, because I've restarted characters so many times that it doesn't.
You've got to.
Oh,
it's not. All you have to do really is go in and estimate if you have 1 that's been replaced with the other 2, and you can get close. So like if you have 1 primary, you look at the other 2.
Each character has been restarted.
All right, what's the easiest way to look at this, Chris?
You have to go look at each character individually on Bungie.
Yeah,
and just look at the
figure this
stats
out later. This isn't the figure out how long you've played Destiny cast. This is the Destiny cast.
40 days.
40 days.
40 days. Don't tell my wife.
46 days.
My question for you is, what is your wish list for the Taken King raid?
Stuff?
It needs to be as well thought out it needs to have as much communication and teamwork as the Vault of Glass, without a glitchy end boss.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree with that. So like when they
and
showed
longer.
off some of when they showed off some of the Court of Oryx stuff, like how there are a bunch of bosses that require you to do something special with them in order to get their shields down.
Mm-hmm.
I want shit like that. Like
where the raid changes?
Yeah, like you have to explode this thrall next to this knight in order to be able to do damage on the knight, or these 2 knights have to be close to each other in order for you to do damage. You
saw, with the strikes where they're having it where certain parts of the strike are randomly generated each time.
Yeah.
So I think in the raid, to have either the positioning of the bad guys. Like, say you have to go down a corridor that has a whole bunch of hidey holes for people to come out and shoot. And normally we just kind of get in position, everyone knows where to fire, and you go. Imagine how nice that would be if the bad guys in that hallway changed every raid and the positioning changed every raid.
Absolutely,
Well,
and all the entire time you're saying, okay, so we're gonna run the Falcon strategy. I just made up a strategy name.
the Flying
Um,
V, guys, Flying V.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's essentially just like the randomness of being sent into one of the portals by Atheon. It's like, okay, Chris, you were sent in. You're gonna pick up the thing. Okay, I was sent in, and you were sent in. I'm going to pick it up. You're going to do this. I want that. I want something where
Only
we're like,
without
okay,
it glitching.
exactly.
Well, and I think if I look at the raid in general, between both raids, and this is someone who hasn't played WoW at all, except for like the 2 hours that Chris made me play.
Uh,
That being the most expensive gaming I did. No, I'm just kidding. But I think there's three big components I think out of any raid that we've seen in Destiny. One is the loot and the loot system. The second one is the amount of skill it takes to actually complete the raid, and the third is how easy it is to kind of try to figure out how to do stuff in the raid. And where I think for Atheon or for Vault of Glass, figuring it out was a key component, and skill was there, but it wasn't a highlight. Like once they made it completely random and you had to have relic bearers who didn't suck, there was that skill component. I think being one of the guys who played Hunter a lot on Crota's End and being sword bearer, I think that was way in the other direction where became like a more skill mechanic. The loot system was great, but then there wasn't
it
a ton to
required
figure
one
out.
person to be
Yeah,
super, super skilled, and everyone else just kind of had to not screw up. And
yeah,
Atheon, everyone had to be equally skilled, and you had to hope the game didn't screw up,
Yeah.
which was the
yeah,
problem.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
So we can hope we can find a balance where it's the good parts of both together as opposed to the bad parts. Because how much fun would it be if it was like, well, you can only complete this if you're a warlock, and the boss doesn't like glitch into the mountain
Yeah.
and become immune. Like, oh,
yeah, and I
I
think
hate
to
when my
that
boss glitches into a mountain.
you know what I'm
or
saying? Like
falls
something
off
like
the
that.
ledge.
If he
I think
teleports out of the ship, you're like, well, there goes that.
Yeah, and I think to that end, one thing that's would have been on my wish list, which I think was on my wish list for Crota's End as well, was to like make each class relevant.
Yeah.
Like something that each class actually does better than another class should be part of the raid. So you're not doing the raid as like six Titans
Yeah.
for some reason.
Which I think Crota's End got really close because you
Hmm.
had parts where, like, so the very first part, Titans were great with their bubbles because you could go through there, and every time you had a Titan bubble down, you could actually stop and rest at the lamps. The way they designed it, if you couldn't glitch through it, which we all did, but if you could do that properly, Titans were great there. Warlocks were great at the bridge.
Yeah.
So and then
Well, then
obviously you could
Titans
have
were
Hunter.
also good at the bridge because they had suppressor grenades. Like if you couldn't down the guy with the sword fast enough, you could
Yeah. But
pop
I'm
the
saying
bubble. Yeah.
specifically for glitching, what's funny is the Titan was great at the first part because of high jump. The second glitch, Warlocks were great because they could die and come back to life. And the third part, if you didn't have a Hunter, you couldn't complete it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could,
Um,
but not on hard mode.
Yeah. And that's
I
where like
think.
even
Go ahead.
oh yeah, I was gonna say even like the little stuff we saw about the thing of Oryx. What was it? What was the thing on stream? The court of Oryx.
Court
The
of
court
Court
of
of
Oryx.
Oryx. Yeah.
Where like you had that one set of like taken night regular night boss where like if you got them close to each other, then the hunter could do the super and like tie them down to force
Yeah.
their shields to collapse.
Something
Like
that
that's cool.
exactly. The fact that the hunter has a much more supportive ability other than just being able to go invisible and either go revive people
And
or hide,
res people.
it is really really exciting. One, I've wanted to say something for like the last 5 minutes, and now I can't remember what it was. I've been trying to. I've been just trying to jump right into it, but I can't remember. So let's move out. Let's move out of. Let's move out of raids, and let's talk about strikes, because I'm really excited to see what they do with the strikes. I mean, we've already been told that 2 strikes are going to be are going to have some variances in them, because the Taken are going to be introduced into them, and then we're also told that the more we play certain strikes, the more story elements we're going to learn about the lore around the strike. So I mean that is something that I'm really excited, because it's really going to breathe some fresh air into just going through and playing through strike playlists. Because know that is going to be something that I'm just going to sit and do. It's like, oh, no one's on. I guess I'll just sit through and go through some strike playlists.
What I think at the heart of that is the change that they made to the weekly, right? So now the weekly is just a strike playlist.
Well, the weekly heroic is a strike.
Yeah, the weekly
playlist.
heroic. Yeah.
Not the nightfall. The nightfall is still a single strike.
Yeah.
But I do agree.
I think it's a big component, and should be fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chris, are you excited about the new strikes? You're more of I feel like you're more of a PvP person than you are a PvE person.
Oh.
When it comes to
I'm both.
He just wants the grimoire, okay?
Yeah, I'm just in it. I'm just in it for those points, which they're not displaying anymore. That's the only thing that pisses me off about year 2 so far, is that you have to actually like hover to see them. What's the point? I need to show my grimoire size to everybody.
I have to say I agree with you,
because
Chris.
DJ's grimoire is too low.
It's like my obsession with trophies and my trophy level and my amount of platinum trophies and all that. I want that to be as high as I possibly can. But it's one of the things that turned me off to playing The Witcher for so long, is that I looked at that
truthfully,
platinum, like,
with strikes versus PvP, or with the strikes coming up, because I'm actually a very large PvE player. For every MMO that I've ever played, I was much more heavily into PvE than I was PvP. And with Destiny, I really wanted to be more into the PvE. And what happens to me is I'll run through it and I grind through the PvE content, and it became so repetitive that to me there was nothing else for me to get by playing it again. Once I finished each raid enough times, I have all the weapons, I was done. All my armor. Like right now, all of my stuff from let's go back to Crota's End. You guys know that. I had every piece of gear from Crota's End with maxed stats and the best stats because I grinded it that much. So that's great. Now with strikes, there was nothing in it that even compared to raid gear. So there was no point to me playing it until Hopscotch Pilgrim came out and everyone went apeshit over that. But the truth is there was really no reason. So now we'll have a reason to go back and play them. So that is going to be what's fun for me, is that they're actually making a reason for me to do it, not just because I'm bored. Like, I can't do that. For me, there was still something to do in PvP, and there wasn't anything for me to do or learn in PvE, if that makes sense.
I thought the greater irony of actually year 1 as a PS4 player is that some of the best strikes in my mind were the exclusive strikes, except for the part at the end where you had bosses who were bullet sponges, but they were better to play. I liked playing the Warmind strike of I think that was Dark Below, that when it came out, where you were fighting off minotaurs a lot. And it's like,
Sorry.
One, I was like, why the hell can I not get Glimmer from doing this? Because that's just dumb. And then it was just like, but there's no reason to keep playing this. No reason.
Yeah.
And you never saw them in Nightfalls because they were exclusive content. And I'm hoping for better things that come out.
I'm hoping that we're going to start seeing those in Nightfalls now that Xbox players are going to be able to play them.
Except for the new ones that they can't play.
Except for the new ones that they can't play. Let's talk about Nightfalls for a second.
Because changes to Nightfall.
They're making some huge changes to Nightfall. I
It's
mean,
a good change.
well, all of the changes, it's not the same Nightfall at all anymore. You don't get an XP boost.
Yep.
You don't get kicked to orbit when you die.
Yep.
Um, and those are the two things that kind of made the Nightfall the Nightfall.
Yeah, but the problem with that before was that the Nightfall, how many times on Tuesday was it's Tuesday night, Sam, are you on? Let's do our Nightfalls. We want to do the raid. No. We need to do the Nightfalls first, or we need to do the Nightfalls before we do any other content. Let's not go do anything because we have to get the Nightfalls done. Because it's your XP boost for the week, and you were wasting XP if you didn't do it first. I
You don't
love
get
that they
XP
took
from
that
the
away.
raids anyways.
No, not the raids, but just in general, everyone, it was the first thing you needed to do.
Yeah. No, I do agree with that. And I mean, that is the reason Bungie said they were taking it away.
Yeah, and they just, there's no point to it. It can increase the XP by 20% because everyone who really played had the boost at all times anyway.
Yeah.
So now they're making them harder, I guess, is what they've been saying, right? They're making them more challenging than they were before.
Yeah.
That's why they're not kicking you to orbit, because they're expecting you to get wiped more.
I do like that they've taken some of the things like Strange Coin and Motes of Light out of the rotation for rewards.
I
for
finished
RNG.
it. I got 13 Strange Coins.
Well, and I think the entire point that the reason they're taking the kick to orbit out, I agree with. I just wish there were a better way to do that. And their entire argument was basically what it encouraged you to do was sit back in a corner and snipe.
Yeah.
And not actually like engage in the content or engage in the fight. And I get that. Like replaying 20 to 30 minutes of content because you're at the boss and you like peek out to shoot Valis Tarek and like you get mobbed by Legionnaires. Like, okay, yeah, that's annoying.
Shield bashed. All
yeah, exactly.
Randomly
like,
shield bashed.
Yeah.
Across
so I get the idea that like if we're gonna make it more difficult for you to like find a cheese point to snipe in, but we're gonna give you something in return for that. Like I do like that mindset. It's just I also want like the risk, like it'd be interesting if instead of that they said like the Nightfall can only take you 35 minutes. And like
or there was amped up rewards for finishing the Nightfall within a set period of time, but you only had one chance a week on that character to complete it. Or one timed chance per week across your account.
Oh,
how much
really cool.
How much more intense would that be if you had one chance timed the first Nightfall you did per week, and if it was like an hour or less, you got this reward, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah. That would be fun.
I mean, I don't think you need the account lockout.
There you go, Bungie. Yeah. Listen to this, put that in. Because, one account wide, that would be intense.
Yeah.
That would be an amazing, skill set and give you, fire all over your body or something crazy. Because they seem to be able to do that easy.
You just run out into Crucible.
You just run out on fire. But it's blue. So it's, really...
how hilarious is it that they, released the Jack-O-Lantern about 5 to 6 weeks into year one, and then never released anything anywhere similar to that ever again.
Yeah, I wanted a red nose for Christmas so I could be Rudolph or antlers, but no.
That's a little intense. Okay.
I still think they need to do the holiday time where all of the ammo packs are little presents. That would still be cool.
Yeah, that'd be adorable. Let's close out the strike talk with your favorite strike. What is your number one favorite strike in Destiny in year one?
Oh, that's rough. That's rough. I think the Dust Palace.
Dust Palace?
Not to shove it in those Xbox One players too much. But I think the Dust Palace was fun the first couple times we played. That final boss fight is actually difficult. And the ads actually matter, and it's not like we kill the ads and then we just damage the bosses.
Your weapon type really matters in that one too.
Yep, I think it was the most well thought out of those. My favorite strike was just because of sentimentality, killing Fogoth. He's my favorite guy to take down because it was
Nightfall.
Yeah, he was my favorite boss simply because when we first started the game, I think Sam and I spent an hour in the room with Fogoth, running in circles, trying to kill him because we were severely underleveled, and
Yeah.
and we were just like, it was
It's like
the most.
recommended level 8. Okay.
Yeah, we could take him out on like level 6. We got this, and pew pew pew. He's not taking any damage, and
Throwing
we were
frozen
just.
peas at him.
Oh, it was so much fun that just has a place, like it's a place in here.
And then we
Uh,
get like Thorn, and then
oh,
we like
yeah,
realized it wasn't that great.
yeah. We were like, Thorn. Oh, we have to sit back here and snipe through this little opening through some knight's legs for like an hour and a half. Yeah, fun.
All right, Ben, what do you got?
I have to say my favorite strike is also the Fogoth one. It's the very first walkthrough video I did, which is still sitting on the IGN wiki for for the summoning pits. And I just remember looking at the first comments of that. It's like, what gun are you using? that is actually letting you beat this. So that one, I agree with Chris. It holds some sentimental value, as well as being the first Nightfall that I completed.
What's the worst strike? I think everyone say the boss. That is the worst boss in the game. On 3, who's the worst boss? 1, 2, 3.
Volastark.
Volastark.
But he's gotten so much better. I've run
he was
that
the
like
worst
3
boss.
times. He was the worst boss.
They literally had to nerf him.
They had to take and fix him because he was so bad.
Which is ironic, because the rest of that one was actually kind of
I dislike Screaming Lady more.
Oh,
Like,
them?
Yeah.
Let's move on to Crucible. Crucible is a big topic. They have done so much with Crucible over the last year that what you saw Vanilla Destiny with Crucible is a completely different Crucible than what we play now. So I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on Crucible, starting with your all-time favorite game type on Crucible. Like Control, Clash, Skirmish, Rumble.
Oh.
The vehicle one, the Trials, Elimination.
Mine is the Inferno Control.
Inferno Control.
Inferno Control is my favorite because it was, especially, it gave me a chance to really use Voidwalker to fun effect because it's no radar, super fast cap times on the points. But if you were watching and you were careful, you could get 5-6 people killed at one time because they would cluster on that one point, and you would just Nova bomb the crap out of them, and they couldn't see you. It was beautiful. I love walking behind people in Inferno and just following them because you can see that they're not turning,
Yep.
and just following behind them the entire time with a shotgun, just waiting for them to turn so you can shoot them in the face.
Which is funny because it's the exact opposite to how I play Inferno anything. It's like I'm essentially running forward but spinning. It's like, okay.
Well, you're the one that I stay behind and I snipe in there. Like, look at that idiot spinning in circles.
But it's I love the Inferno game types as well, but I would say I enjoy Inferno Skirmish. Especially when they did Inferno Doubles Skirmish, Chris, and you and I were playing that.
Yep.
And I rezzed you like 5 times just to get shot by the same person 5 times. No, but I think I love the teamwork aspect of Team Skirmish. And I love that you get points for reviving, for actually being a team player. You get points for that. Whereas too much in like Control and Clash, it's people are just, oh, who cares about the points or anything like that. I'm just gonna go kill everything I see. Maybe I'll capture a point here and there. It's like I end up playing a game of Control and I'm sitting there like, okay, I see that we're getting a shit ton of kills. Why do we not have a single point? Whereas with Skirmish, it's like I go in with a group of people that I know, and we can completely roll over the stuff. And yes, Cryot Hole Breaker, I can see what you're writing. That's why DJ Fluffkins here responded to you. So that's my favorite. Sam, what's yours?
It's definitely Iron Banner. I mean, which is basically Control.
Yeah.
Control with more Thorn.
Control
No.
with more Thorn. At first, it was Control with more
Control with
Suros.
more Suros.
No, so it wasn't necessarily Iron Banner, except for the part where I think leveling, with the fact that levels mattered, actually meant a little bit more to me. But I like Control, and I think the weakness in Control is what you just pointed out, is that people like didn't figure out how to play the game, and so like I remember probably the first couple months of playing Control, like I'd keep getting like objectively correct trophies at the end. I'd be like Chris, like I keep getting this objectively correct trophy. He's like, oh,
What
I've
is
never
this?
gotten that. What is that? And it's the
like-
trophy for tapping the most points.
Yeah, I'm like, I've never got that ever.
Chris is like, I've gotten one.
Um,
No, I like that because I'm not a huge PvP player, so I know I'm not going to bring it in kills, although I've gotten better once I've started playing with the Zim. Not really cheating. But,
really cheating.
you know, no, so I like the
Cheat.
fact that there's that component to it, that it's not just pure deathmatch. It's not basically like an old Halo mode of whatever. So I like that. I think, there's a lot of weakness to it. Like, some of the vehicle maps are better. Like, there are some maps that I don't get to play on Iron Banner that are Control maps that I would have liked to play, but they're also, like, super frustrating. So maybe I wouldn't have liked playing them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I do also have to say, though, I love Trials of Osiris. I like that it's consistent and that it's there every weekend, and it's also a Power Matters game type.
You mean Thorn matters?
Thorn
I
Matters.
think I honestly would have loved it. I hope they bring it back with weapon balancing,
Mhm.
and I hope it comes back. But the way that it's been was so unplayable that it just made it. It was really, how good are you at headshotting with a pistol? Because if you're great at getting headshots with a pistol and only a pistol, you're going to be good.
I would just like to point out that the one time that I almost went 9-0, I went 8-0. And I was using the pulse rifle, the messenger.
The one that
entire
you
time.
only get for doing what?
No.
Well,
Yeah, you
well,
can get a
rolling
mes-
9-0?
the same stats as the Hopscotch Pilgrim.
you get a non-adept version.
Yeah, I did get a non-adept version, and that's what I've been using.
Yeah.
So, in your face, Chris.
I mean, I
In
think
your
the most
face.
frustrating.
So
I
you
think the most-
enjoy it currently?
I do. I mean, yes,
Really,
I
you
agree
enjoy
that
the
it's
thorn for all?
I am.
And the
am
last word
finished
for all?
talking, Chris. I do agree that it is dominated by too many weapons, but I'm bummed that
Few
they
weapons.
I'm sorry, too few weapons. I'm bummed that they're taking it away before giving it a chance with the new weapon balancing.
Well, that's what I said. I hope it comes back.
No, I know that's what you said. I'm just
Just balanced properly. Because right now, it's not as much fun as it could be. We'll go with that.
Sam has no fun.
Sam has no fun.
No,
yeah.
I think it did create kind of this play style where if you were really good at the game, like you had a stream and you carried followers and you
Yep.
whatever,
Got paid to take people to 9-0.
which I think is like cool and it's fun, but like I wish we got creative with some sort of ladder system that like let the power balance, so like I actually would want to play it more and not feel super frustrated at the end of it all the time.
Yep.
Well, okay. Let's talk about the new stuff that's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because they're releasing the new game types, the Taken King game types tomorrow.
I feel like we should
Tuesday.
be on streaming.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Tuesday, September 8th is when all of that's happening. So I am really excited to see a kind of capture the flag like game type. Like that is going to be a freaking blast when it's not something that is completely dependent on kills. It's capture this flag. I mean, killing people is going to be important, but
Mm-hmm.
you know,
When you did you get a chance to watch the stream that they had on it?
I watched during E3 when they were showing off stuff at E3. I did
Yeah.
not have
So
a chance to watch during the
When they
stream.
had the two teams going head to head,
Mhm.
it was very interesting watching the strategies evolve and change as they started to learn how to play it. They didn't obviously give them enough time to really get into it, but yeah,
there's
it was
definitely a
definitely fun.
team element to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
communication mattered.
yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait to kind of see what other Crucible things that they have going forward with these game types. Like, I want to see mayhem, Inferno mayhem, essentially. Like, just no radar whatsoever, and just super after super after super after super. Yeah, it's gonna be mayhem. It's like they named it appropriately or something.
And at some
Uh,
point, when they unlock the new subclasses, it won't just be Hunter, 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 Hunter.
yeah. Instead, it'll be Stormwalker, 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 Stormwalker.
And there's going to be a lot of Titans, which is the whole what's the best class thing. I
Yeah,
do think that.
we have a couple more things that we have to talk about before we
Okay,
get to that.
okay.
But let's go ahead. Let's move on to the miscellaneous stuff with Taken King that we haven't talked about. New weapon types. How excited are you about swords? As a heavy weapon, I am stoked for swords.
No, it was really cool, but it kind of disappointed me when I saw it in the stream this week because it was like, oh look, overpowered heavy weapon.
Oh, Sam.
So I like swords. I loved using them. I think they're great. I don't want it to be like a super overpowered. Like I need to equip this weapon to take down a boss. That's what I just don't.
You don't want. You don't want a Yaller sword.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely understand that. I am really excited to see what kind of exotic sword comes out and what the perks on that are going to be. That'll be exciting.
Well, you saw the one.
I didn't see.
I
the
did.
one.
Oh, okay. They put one on the stream. I didn't read all the substats, but she did kind of like move through some of them, so you could
That
see
wasn't
some of the perks.
that was a legendary though. It wasn't exotic.
No, it's exotic.
Pretty sure it was legendary.
Have you guys seen the specific
No.
exotics?
So he's talking about a different stream. I thought you were talking about a stream that I missed. You're talking about the Court of Oryx stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that stream I did watch and I thought it was legendary, but I could be mistaken as well.
You are. I mean, I just had.
You did just watch it, so
I did just pull it up.
Speaking of exotics, how do you feel about the exotic blueprint system?
Well, I think it's very good. Not having to keep up space for things that you don't want, like
Yeah, I could finally
like
get rid of my
the
radiant
fourth
dance
horseman.
machines.
If I'm not going to use it all the time, there's a spot where I can just get rid of it, and then I can go make it again if it comes back into favor, or my bad juju that I never use, or Monte Carlo. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be using those more.
Yeah, I agree. I think we don't need all of these exotics sitting in there because we don't use them, and a bunch of them aren't even like moving forward in year 2.
Did you see the list?
Is there a full definitive list?
So it's the last word, Red Death, Suros, Fourth Horseman, Thunderlord, Truth, Monte Carlo, Hawk Moon, and Bad Juju.
Okay. So
Are the redesigned ones that are coming forward.
So they basically said, "Hey, we can't just screw Xbox players."
yeah.
Yep.
No, that's I was legitimately worried about that. Like I was looking through and I'm like, they've got to be pulling forward Monte Carlo and Hawkmoon and Fourth Horseman because that would be a dick move on Bungie's part.
And they know they're bringing forward currently Light Beyond Nemesis, no backup plans, Obsidian Mind, Void Fang Vestments, and Helm of Saint 14.
Which ones are the no backup plans?
It's the one that no one ever used on their Titan. It's the gauntlets.
Oh, right. Okay. The one that gives you a longer barrier thing.
Yeah.
But the notable absent weapon is Yallarhorn.
And Thorn.
Well, yeah, and Thorn. Thank God. How do you feel about these weapons not making it forward?
Not
Well,
surprised.
being someone who had G-Horn from like week 3 on, and it was one of those things where going into groups, you would have to delineate who has the G-Horn, who doesn't have the G-Horn.
Yeah.
It would actually limit what you were doing in the raids, in the strikes, in whatever. And it sucked because you'd have, like, I know it seems silly to say, like, the G-Horn handicapped you, but if you were one of 2 people with a G-Horn and that was
you had
it,
to use it.
you had to use the G-Horn,
Yeah.
you were assigned to that duty. And
Yeah.
it was almost tempting to say, nope, I don't have one. But, you know, that was horrible. And
It was
I know
really bad for you and I during Vault of Glass because
Yep.
you and I were the ones that were best at running Relic, and were the only ones with Yallarhorn.
well, that's how I learned to go in right side solo.
Yeah,
I could go in right side, take down the guy inside, grab the sword, get out on my own, and then somehow on the left, people would still, like 3 people are going in, and they'd screw it up and die.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're,
That's not a point of contention for anything.
Well, and I think the funny thing is you make that point, and it's like when I got the helmet first in Vault of Glass, it sucked for me because I could not do anything other than hold the relic.
Yep. Yeah. It was hey, you're level 30. Good.
You're gonna run the relic, and that's all you're gonna ever do.
Yeah.
Sad.
So I am happy to see that they are thinking about things that are handicapping gameplay. Not necessarily handicapping players, but handicapping gameplay. Because, you know, you go onto any LFG and it's like, must have maxed out Yallarhorn. It's like, screw you. I've done this thing 8 million times without Yallarhorn because I would rather use a different exotic. But I'm happy to see that.
Currently, Prison of Elders, every time you go into Prison of Elders, it's a primary with a Void, Arc, or Solar, a shotgun, specifically one that has a high rate of fire, and then G-Horn.
Yep.
Every single time. Because you cannot replace G-Horn with anything.
Nope.
So I'm very happy
now
to see it gone.
Yeah.
So now it'll just be truth.
Yeah. Instead it'll be Super Tracker.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah, we will. I'm excited to see what the new exotics will bring and what the new Yallarhorn is going to be. And maybe I won't get it the first week of gameplay, which would be not cool.
You accidentally don't buy it.
No, I'm hoping that there will not be a new G-Horn. That's the goal.
I agree.
The goal is there not to be anything that is so overpowered that you have to have it to compete.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to see another Thorn. I don't want to see another
Thorn.
Last word. I don't want to see G-Horn.
It's something I've said a million times, though. It's like, rather than going through and nerfing all of these great or super weapons, essentially, why don't you make these other exotic weapons that are supposed to be very special more special?
That's power creep. You can't do that.
Well, you can.
You can.
No, you can't. You can if you're going to ruin your game. Every MMO for all time, everyone thinks that would be good, but it's not. The truth is, if you design something that's way above the power curve like that, your only choice is really to bring it in line. Because otherwise you introduce a whole bunch of other balancing issues by bringing anything else up to that level. Look what happened with Thorn when they rebalanced Thorn.
Yep.
And it was the worst thing they...
I would love to argue with you on that, but I don't play MMOs. So
okay,
other
there
than,
you go. I promise you,
Destiny.
From playing MMOs since I was like 12, if any time they've done that, it's ruined the MMO. You have to bring stuff back in line. You can have ones that are just a little bit better, but they have to be in certain circumstances better, not across the board better.
Yep. Not better at every single
thing. Everything. Like if G-Horn was, say, vanilla damage, not solar, didn't have a solar type, and if they had done that to it, so then you have like solar, when it's solar burn, it wouldn't be the best rocket to use.
Yeah. It would be
Because of that.
Dragon's Breath.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, like, think about little things like that, and that's what I think they're going for. I'm hoping that they hired somebody who's played MMOs this time, who actually can go in and go, no, yeah, you got to bring that one back in line, or make it more niche.
And to be completely fair, when you really kind of think about the game, like the prime example of that in my mind is Icebreaker, right? Like Icebreaker was that thing that everyone had to have and everyone had to use throughout pretty much the first 2 raids, more or less. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, they just basically created game types where Icebreaker was not relevant.
Well, they created a gun called Black Hammer.
There's that too.
Yeah, but even
then that lets you use Black Hammer and G-Horn.
Yeah.
So, what did they do to Black Hammer?
Well, yeah, they're nerfing Black Hammer.
Nerfing the crap out of.
They're also nerfing the crap out of
Icebreaker. So it's but that's the point, is that they created another overpowered gun, and then let you use that overpowered gun with your overpowered rocket launcher.
Yeah.
So because before you were stuck using Icebreaker instead of G-Horn, and everyone was upset about that. So then they made Black Hammer, and then you were able to use the overpowered Black Hammer with the overpowered G-Horn and the overpowered Fatebringer.
All right, I do want to start wrapping the show up, but before we do, there's one more discussion that we have to get into. Everyone has had this talk with all of their friends who play Destiny, and it's always an argument. One of you started out your first playthrough as a warlock, one of you started out your first playthrough as a hunter, and you believe that your class is the best in the game. So I have to ask my panel with me today, which class do you believe is the best in the game? Sam.
Warlock.
Why? Let's try not to stick this to one word answers. Why?
Res. Sorry.
And this was the last time Sam was ever on the show.
No, I mean, I think at the end of the day, given the subclasses that exist right now and how they play, having a warlock who could resurrect, who could get past, like kind of nightfalls and do all that stuff with good grenades, with good jumping ability. I think it was all around something that I think wasn't overpowered in one specific play type, but wasn't underpowered.
I have to disagree with that jump. Of the 3 classes, I think it is the most terrible of all 3 jumps. Like, it doesn't push you forward. It only just barely can push you forward. If you're going to talk about a gliding jump that's actually decent, I'd have to say it's the Titan one.
Are you talking about jump higher on the Titan?
I'm talking about any of the Titan jumps. At least it propels you in the direction you want to go.
Okay, well, that's well, hold on. We'll get to you. This is Sam saying his favorite class, not favorite.
So don't tell me how to host this show, Chris.
So step 1, it does have blink. It does have blink.
Yes,
it does. You can go into PvP and blink. I think when it comes, and I'll just defend the jump, is that nothing was out of reach for your jump. Yep. Was it the best jump ever? No, but you could do everything you needed to do with the jump. So it wouldn't propel you up really easily. It wouldn't give you the benefit of being able to drop and then redo stuff really easily, but overall, anything you need to do with the jump, you could do with the jump. It was the middle of the ground character, and then the grenades were fun. They were cool. They did stuff. Axion Bolt later was great.
Nothing manacles with the
with the scatter grenades,
the scatter grenades,
explosions.
Mm-hmm.
It would for lack of a better term, it was like the very middle of the road character that let you access basically all the content you wanted with the same character, and you had the benefit of res, which was just a lot of safety for people in PvE environments.
So I'm going to back Sam up here. I'm the guy who actually had 2 warlocks up until recently, because it is the master race. So here you go. Warlock. Number 1 has blink jump. If you want to play PvP with blink jump, you have blink jump. Has a very
Also,
devastating.
if you want to play PvE with blink jump,
you have a very devastating super in PvE or in PvP with the Nova Bomb. In PvE, you have probably the most useful super in Resurrect in terms of saving people, specifically nightfalls, raids, etc. I mean, there were points where you were doing Vault of Glass where it was we need 1 Titan and the rest Warlocks. And no one needed a Hunter. That's the current classes. Now coming forward,
you just don't like the Hunter and the Vault of Glass.
Hold on,
what I did
hold on.
The first time.
Coming forward, and this is in PvE. Now, you said what is the best class?
No,
in PvE, the Warlock is definitely the best PvE class. PvP, everybody knows the best PvP class is Hunter. End of story. It's fine. Or you can go with Void Warlock, but simply because of blink jump and shotguns. Now, are things going to change with the weapon rebalancing? I hope. Because quite frankly, Hunter scares the bejesus out of me because as great as Stormcaller is going to be, as great as Sunbreaker is going to be, you get Shade Step. Really? Like, that's like we're going to finally be on even footing. We've got some good... Oh, no, wait. You can blink jump. You can blink sideways out of my shots
I'm so
somehow.
excited about that.
And which is fine because I'm now playing on a Hunter. And I think for PvP, Night Stalker scares me as becoming the best class in the game for PvP. For PvE, I still think it's going to actually be Warlock. Because Stormcaller looks insane. When you start working with arc bolt grenades, and then you get the whole grenade punch, where every time you kill something with your punch, your grenade gets recharged. Every time you kill something with a grenade, your punch gets recharged.
Yeah, that's
automatically.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna run through PvE content, so it's gonna be so much fun. And PvP is gonna be fun doing that too. But because God forbid you get that lovely glide forward arc that only a Warlock can do, that lets you lob that arc bolt grenade right onto C as they're capping it, so that you can pulse and kill everyone at C at the beginning of the game. Yeah. So there's some stuff that Warlocks can do that you can't do. So there you go, so, Warlock Master Race.
I'm going to be the one that goes against you guys, and after hearing Mike in my ear, I kind of wish he was here to help back me up, but he's only here in spirit.
Sorry.
Hunter is absolutely, even in PvE, the best class in the game. When we're talking about jumps, you still have jumps that can get everywhere the Titan and the Warlock can get. And before you start arguing that the blink jump can literally get as high as the Titan high jump. The blink jump can jump from the rock in Crota's End to that ledge.
But none of that matters.
Well, but
that's not really
the arguments that you guys yourself brought up. The jump can get you everywhere you want to go.
No, that was just
exactly
defending.
What Sam said.
Defending the jump.
But it was still a point that you brought up. It doesn't change the fact that it was brought up. Okay? The jump still gets you everywhere you need to go. Because you yourself complain about the Hunter jump all the time. It drives me nuts. And in PvE, while I do agree that the res is a great ability, I don't think it is any greater than being able to pop a bubble and give your entire team an extra shield, or...
The Hunter got a bubble? Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to say.
Also, playing as a Hunter with you guys, I can't count the number of times that you guys... Let's bring up Volasta Auric. We've done that strike on the Nightfall, and you guys go down out there, and you're like, oh, I don't want to use my res. Oh, you can go invisible and get us. So that is done more often than you guys actually res yourself.
Okay? So what you're saying is we use you as often as we want.
We use you as much as we want, so
because
that we...
it's a fucking useful class. If it weren't a useful class, you wouldn't...
In this cast have said the only thing that you were useful for was going invisible and rezzing people. You said that earlier. That's
Here's
the
the
only
difference,
Sorry,
Ben.
keeping
Here's the
people
difference,
alive
Ben.
is
We
not
get stuck out
something-
there, we're dead. If you're not around, we pick ourselves up and run away. If you are around, you come get us. If you're out there,
well, let's go with this.
fucked.
If we decide to use our super, we can annihilate an entire field with our super when we use it. If we're not saving it for a res, you can go super and lob grenades all day. You can go, you're basically immune. You can punch kill everything. You have like 3 shots in PvE. Woo!
No, I'm sorry. I'm
Or blade dance and get
all
killed.
the way.
Or blade
Hungering
dance and
Blade.
get killed while you're blade dancing.
Hungering Blade, Razor's Edge. I can still sit in a corner and throw that Razor's Edge and kill things for like 2 minutes straight without my super actually leaving. Not necessarily 2 minutes straight. That's obviously an exaggeration. Don't give me that face, Chris. But it's just as useful of a super as any of the others.
Well, let's go with the actual truth here, which is when we play, in general, we're playing Hunter, Warlock, Titan for our team. And why is that? Because the 3 classes are balanced to support each other and work well together. If you have a Sunsinger, a Blade Dancer, and a Defender, you can walk through any strike because you've got the Overshield in the bubble if you're taking too much fire. You've got the guy that can res everyone with the great grenades, and you've got the guy who can go invisible and save everybody because that's what they're useful for. But the truth
Because
is, all
saving
3...
everyone is not useful.
No, that's you know.
You're putting it out there.
I'm giving you a hard time. That's my job.
Thing.
But the truth is, all 3 are actually really good, and they did a really good job balancing the classes. There is no true best class other than
Except in
Warlock.
PvP,
There's no real best
where
class.
Is the best where Hunter is the best
Yeah,
class.
and that's
PvP.
simply because why?
Because it's ranged. It's a ranged super.
Yeah, exactly. It's a ranged super that also for some reason gives you an overshield.
Yeah.
Like if they just took away the overshield, you'd be fine with Golden Gun. It would be balanced. Same thing with Blade Dancer. You get a random shield that regenerates. Yeah. Well, the Blade Dancer I can see being okay, but the Golden Gun doesn't make any sense to have an overshield.
Well, all of the supers have an extra little armor boost when you use them. It's still every time I try to Golden Gun a Nova Bomb person, it still takes 2 shots.
Only if they take the perk.
Only if they take the perk.
Yeah, you have to take the perk.
Extra armor.
Yeah, the extra armor when you Nova Bomb. There's a thing that lets you have extra.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Because there are other things that are good.
No. But I am really excited to play as a Night Stalker as well because I feel
it does seem scary.
I feel like the Hunter is going to start getting less crap when I'm playing because I can in PvP
actually contribute in PvE.
I'll be able to stop people from using their supers, or in PvE I'll be able to tether shit to the ground, or the freaking awesome like smoke bomb that you can throw down that makes everyone in range become invisible. I mean, come on, that is sick.
Yeah, I think the dodge is going to be fun. I thank God they didn't give that guy blink. That's all I'm saying. Is if they had given it blink and shade step, that would have been way too much.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they did not go with blink with that. And Titans, for all the people that are Titan lovers, we all have a Titan. We all love playing Titan.
I got rid of my second Hunter so that I could have a Titan.
Yeah. I mean, Titans are great. My biggest issue right now is every time I've seen with the new subclass specifically, of the 3 new subclasses, the Hunter's subclass looks like it's going to be the most fun in terms of bringing something new to a class.
It's going to be the most interesting. I'm not going
to. It's going to bring something new that a class didn't have. The Warlock is going to be very powerful and it's going to be great, and you're going to see Warlocks using their supers during raids rather than just sitting on a full super the entire time.
Yeah.
And then the Titan
Which is
one,
not helpful, really.
the Titan one, honestly, looks like in PvP not the best. From what I've seen them using, it's very unpredictable, and I'm seeing them lobbing hammers and not killing anyone with them. I really think in PvE is where it's going to shine, and I think PvP you're not going to use it
because it's the sun.
Yep.
Yeah. Look at
So.
that. All right. Let's go ahead. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Remember, you can find us all over the internet. Sam, where can they find you?
At djfluffkins.everything. No, I mean...
Everything. Including djfluffkins.com now.
Yes, I own it! I'm squatting my own domain!
Chris, where can they find you?
At C Bonani, which is Buonanni.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you can always find me on Twitter. I am BRidiculous, BRiDDICKULOUS. And make sure to catch me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Time for Nightly Novels, the Nerdy Nights Comic Book Club show. This week we're reading All-Star Superman. So make sure you read that and watch us every Thursday. You can also follow everything Nerdy Nights related on Twitter at nerdy_nights. And just see everything that we do at www.nkrn.org. Remember, Nerdy Nights Radio is live on Twitch every Monday at 7:30 Pacific Time, and you can be a part of the show by participating in the chat. You can also find the show in split videos on YouTube at NKR Productions and on iTunes as NK Radio. Thanks again, everyone. It has been an excellent night. I officially dubbed thee a Nerdy Knight of the Round. Go out and defend the realm of the Nerdy Knights. And until next week, remember, it's dangerous to go alone.